I'm Allie. Join me as I show you how to make this little pearl heart, which looks really cute as a sideways pendant in 4mm, or you can even bump up sizes and make it in 6 for a pin, or even for a hair barrette too. So make sure to watch to get ideas how you can use this. If you need materials, because you didn't get pearls in your subscription box because you're not subscribed, you should check that out. Go ahead and look below the description. And in that description, hit the little show more button and it'll link you back to our site where you can get all the details and order your products out of the 36 colors of pearls that we have. Gather up your supplies and let's get started. To begin, we're going to start to build some right angle weave units with some 4mm pearls. You can do it obviously with any size pearl. We are going to pick up 4 of our 4mm pearls here. And remember, if you need any of the supplies, they're in that link right underneath the video for the description. You can do the show more button there as well. 4 pearls get dropped down to the end of some size 8 dragon thread. We're going to go back through pearls number 1, 2, 3, and out before number 4. Leaving just a small tail because we'll go in and do some attachments with thread on our needle. So we don't really need anything more than what we can just hold on to. From here, we're going to do a second right angle weave unit that sits right after this one. So I now have on 4 beads for unit number 1, and I'm going to add 3 more beads for unit number 2. Coming out of the bottom of the right bead there of that unit, I'm going to go into the top bead of that same bead and add 3 more beads with my needle, creating a second right angle weave unit. Guess what? We're going to do a third unit. We're going to go up here and we're going to do this third unit a little bit different. So rather than get the whole way to the right side of that box that we just made, we are going to go in and we are going to build off the side of it. So to build off the side, we are going to come out the right side of that box, which would have been the bottom if it was that way. We're going to build a right angle unit off the side here. 4 more beads or 3 more beads get added to it. So we're going to do 1, 2. Pearls can be a little tricky. They have a little tiny tail usually. You kind of have to roll around there, get to the right side. That little tail will come off as you're using them. Coming off that side bead there, I want you to go into the opposite side after adding the 3 beads, just like we did. After adding those 3 beads, you're going to have a right angle weave at the bottom, right angle weave on the top, and then a right angle weave to the right. I'm going to sew through the bead that my thread is currently coming out of and through the next bead as well, which is going to be the bead at the top here. Once I'm at that bead on the top, I'm going to do another right angle weave unit. 1, 2, and 3. Go back into that same bead from the opposite direction. And we're going to go over to the right-hand side. And out. Now, you can see this start of this heart. That you've got 2 units, then 2 units. We're going to build 1 more unit off the side of this purple unit right here. So we're going to do 1, 2, and 3 beads. Once we're done with that unit, you're going to sew into the bead your thread is currently coming out of from the bottom towards the top. And that's going to complete that last side unit for our heart. Now, we have to get the whole way over and do the same thing on the other side. So to get the whole way over and do the same thing on the other side, watch my thread path. I'm going to go through. If you look at it, this is a column, this is a column, and this is a column. We're going to go through the top of column 2. We are then going to get on over and not twist it in any of our tools sitting nearby. Come on down through the right angle weave then along the bead. We're going to sew over towards the middle. And that middle base line here, we're going to go down through the bead on the left-hand side and get our needle and thread over. So now we're coming out that left-hand side here, and we're going to add basically a mirror image. So our right angle weave 1 and 2 here, we're going to add 2 right angle weaves to column 2, 1 right angle weave to column 3. So coming off the side here, I'm going to kind of sit this down. We are going to add 1, 2, and a third bead. After we have those 3 beads on, you're going to come back down through the bead that your thread is currently coming out of. That right hand bead on the second unit that we made. From here, we need to get to the top to build the next unit. So we're going to go through the bead that's on the left or the bottom here. We're going to come up through the bead that's on the right. Working your way around. Basically, you want to come out through the bead that's on the top of that unit. So I'm spinning mine around, but I'm going to come out right there. Now I need to do another right angle unit. So here's your stack of 2, 1, 2. Here's your second column. We need to do the second one of column 2 on the left. So 1, 2, and 3 beads get added, going into the opposite side of where your thread is currently coming out of that top bead there. As your thread comes out there, nice tight pull, you're going to sew over till your thread's coming out through the left bead of that grouping we just added. When it's coming out the left bead, we're going to add 1 more right angle weave unit to the left. And we have, if you're interested in hearts, we have so many different heart videos that you can check out. Each year we try to do a new heart video in honor of St. Valentine's Day. Going in here, once you have those 3 beads on, you're going to come into the bead that your thread is currently coming out of from the opposite direction. So basically the way that this is different from traditional right angle weave is you're not always exiting through the right side of the last box. This gets us our basic heart shape. And then we're going to go in and we're going to add some embellishments to make it look even more like a heart. After your initial heart foundation, what we're going to do is go in and take the seed beads, go up the side. That's going to help to form more of that heart shape. And then we'll get even more of that rounded design with some seed beads along the top. So I'm currently coming out of the leftmost right angle weave unit, and you're going to take your needle and thread over to the side here and out one of your side beads. So you're going to be coming out the right hand side of your last right angle weave unit. If you look again at this design, I know it can be a little tricky at the start. 2 units of right angle weave there, 2 units of right angle weave there, 1 unit. So column 1, 2, 3 where we started, 4, and 5. We're going to go around the top and add some seed beads in. And I have 11/0s poured out here in my sample piece. I used 8 because I used bigger pearls. And we're going to go around right now and take 1 11/0 seed bead and go through the next 4mm bead that's next to it. We're going to do this the whole way along the outer edge, picking up an 11 and going through the next bead in line. When you go from one right angle unit to the other, you're just going to kind of look and see exactly where to go. All right, I'm following that outer line there. I need to come down here. So I'm going to add 1 more seed bead. Go down into the center here. Along the center, just to keep that nice V, we're going to skip adding a seed bead there and go straight over into the next 4mm pearl. So straight across. And that also pulls those right angle weaves together. You're going to go right up through the pearl. And then we're going to add our seed beads on this side, just like we did the top on the other side. So one seed bead gets added before that bead. And we'll come around and add some seed beads along the top. So that way it gets more rounded. Seed bead gets added into the next pearl in line along the top. Seed bead gets added down the side. Now down the side, you're going to see that lineup of our beads. Seed bead goes between each, and we sew to the next one. Seed bead, sew the next pearl. Seed bead, sew the next pearl. And you're just looking, don't overthink it and don't overcomplicate it. You're just going straight down the line, sewing in 11-0, and then into the next pearl. Into the next pearl. Along the bottom, I also want you to sew a seed bead. The seed beads that sit between the right angle units are the ones that we're going to go back and catch on to as we go in and add in our seed beads along the outer edge. Around the bottom, same thing, add your seed beads. While you're here, if you want to, go ahead, coming out of the pearl, you can add your first little round, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 11-0s back into that same 4mm pearl. That rounds out the bottom there. Up the sides then, 11-0, into the next pearl, 11-0, into the next pearl, all the way up to the top. Then we take one more time around this heart unit, and that one more time around the heart unit is going to be adding more seed beads to get even more into that shape. We now have seed beads along each side, and what we're going to do is catch on to those seed beads and kind of make over arches. So I'm going to go into that 11-0 that's there, and we're going to skip the middle 11-0 and go the whole way over to the second 11-0 at the top. So remember, we have that 11-0 at the top. That's just going to sit and look pretty. We're picking up a collection of seed beads to get to the other side. So you have about 7 or 8, depending on the size that you're using. And then you're going to go into the 11-0. That's there already. See how that rounds it out? Now, down here along the side, you're going to add 1, 2, 3, and 4 11-0s. And then go into that center bottom pearl and out. Once you exit that, you're going to add 4 more seed beads. And then we're going to go into the 11-0 there that sits on the edge. As you finish up with the seed beads along the outer edge, we're going to work on doing an arch that goes over top of the right angle weave units that we already have here. We have 3 seed beads at the top of both sides of our heart. We're going to create an arch from seed bead number 1 all the way over to seed bead number 3. You can see I already have that there, so you can see it in action, and then we'll do it on the second one. We are putting onto our thread and needle and sewing from bead number 1 to bead number 3, 3 of our 11-0s along with 1 of our pearls. We're then going to go down through the 3 pearls that sit at the center of the heart. Over through the middle. Up through the one there, the third one in that middle. And then out through the seed bead. Out through the seed bead, we mimic like we did the other side here. 1, 2, and 3 11-0s, followed by 1 more pearl, followed by 1, 2, 3 11-0s, and over to the 11-0 in the corner. From the 11-0 in the corner, down through the pearl. And while you're there, if you can, sometimes you can't, not a big deal either way, but we're going to want our thread and needle to come out through the 11-0 after that pearl. As I pull, you can see that heart shape coming much more into play. We're going to go in right now through that 11-0, and then we're going to get ready to connect down the sides. Down the side, we're going to pick up 6 seed beads, go to the middle seed bead there. Again, ignoring the 2 little seed beads that hang out in the middle. Get that pink line going around the outer edge. 6 more. And then down into that point that you already made along the bottom. If you haven't made the loop around the bottom, you can certainly make that as you're going. See how that really closes in the heart? If you want to as well, you can go through these 5 beads here, go through beads 1 and 2, skip bead number 3, and go through beads 4 and 5 along with the other 11 out. What this is going to do is pull that bottom a little bit tighter and create a point that hangs out from that one middle bead that's missed. From here, we go up to the side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 seed beads into the side bead here. 6 seed beads. And up to that side point. Now I'm going to put this down so you can see how nicely just those little modifications really made that into that heart shape, because the seed beads along the side really add in that heart. Now in the gold and the pearl one, I'm not going to do this in this one here. I did go in and add some seed beads along the right angle weave. You don't need to do that. You can if you want to. What I'm going to do is get back here to my center pearl, and I'm going to make my wire guard attach off of there. So we're going to go and take our needle and thread, go up through to the top here. I'm going to go through and come out that middle pearl. And you can do a loop of seed beads, you can do a wire guard. I'm going to do the wire guard because I want this to hang off to the side along my seed bead necklace here. So going in, you can choose with this one, gold, silver, doesn't matter. I have silver one handy. So I'm going to go in here, add an 11-0 seed bead, go up through the wire guard. Once you're up through the wire guard, I want you to go down through the wire guard on the opposite side, just like that. And I know this right angle weave heart can be a little hard to get, and I appreciate that. There's other videos too that are helpful. There's the bicone or the puffy heart. That's a good one to watch as well too if you struggle a little bit with right angle weave. You can also look on our Facebook page, which is really great during the live events. They're under videos, and that helps to get to you a little bit more knowledge. And I'm pretty sure there's one from years ago on creating a similar heart. Once you have it through once, you're going to go through twice, going through the 11-0, up and around your bead here, through the 11-0 that's after, and then again through the pearl. That's already there. I'm now going to take my thread and needle in towards the interior of my pendant. Going through the 11 there, that's after it, after the pearl, down in towards this pearl off the right angle as well. Down towards the center, through my bead. Sometimes easier said than done. And then get right to where that starter thread is. So I'm going to look and see where that is. I'm just going to weave my thread through back to the starter thread and tie a knot. From here, the heart will hang on the side from my necklace. I'm going to add a chain, or a jump ring rather, to the piece here. And then I'm going to make a simple seed bead chain for it to hang from. Just to show them the design on the chain that I made, just with some tiny seed beads and my pearls along the side. And then the white one here, I'm going to add to some physical chain. So again, you can make it in 4mm, you can make it in 6mm, you can even go big with 8mm. Another idea is stacking these pearls one on top of the other and starting with a smaller 2mm, 3mm, 4mm, and going up. Make sure to post your pictures in our Facebook group for beading and jewelry making of the hearts that you make. Thanks so much for watching this Pearl Heart video. Remember, there are lots of color options and to share what you make with our Facebook group for beading and jewelry making. If you haven't yet, hit that little subscribe button, and thanks so much for watching. Stay tuned for more inspirational designs.